Have you ever heard the popular saying, you only live once? Life is too short for you not to enjoy it to the fullest. It is perfectly normal if you decide to importantly travel around the world to countries like Brazil, that happens to be synonymous with spectacular natural wonders, scenic mountains, waterfalls, and sparkling beaches. And welcome to the Midday Show live on Echo Television International. As you know, we always talk about different countries and tell you what they do and how they go about their daily activities. I will be talking about this with Tony Ghana in the studio with me. Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon, beautiful Linda.
Oh, thank you. Always my pleasure.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How is the weather treating you?
Good, good, good. We know how
I don't
it
even
is now.
I don't have to necessarily ask.
Of course, you can see it already.
It's obvious. It's obvious on your face.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Brazil, and based on the research I have, and said Brazil is the world's 5th largest country by area and the 7th most populous.
The whole of the world, I suppose. Yeah. Very true. And aside from that, it's a very nice country, a beautiful country that tourists find interest in going because of the magnificent sites that are there, its natural beauty, historical sites, artistic things that are there in the country. And then aside from that, it happens to be a country that so many people want to go, experience new things, explore, and then do and meet like so many other things. And aside from that, it's a country that happens to be one of the cheapest countries you can travel to. Yeah. Like, you don't have to necessarily look for a huge amount of money before traveling to the country. And in a day, though I don't know how some people can spend, but then in a day you can spend nothing less than 8,000 naira if it's converted to Nigerian currency. And then in a month it can amount to like 50,000 there about. So with small preparation, I think someone should think of visiting there. Someone like
so,
you. Cheap
so places. It's cheap places I like to go. That's more like an insult, but I'll take it to be a compliment.
I'm not insulting, I'm just telling you.
I'll take it to be a compliment because how do you want to help me? Have you gone there?
I've been there.
Okay, so Brazil is home to the second river in the world, and the Brazilian flag has 27 stars on it, with its country's slogan, which they always use, Ordem e Progresso, which means order and progress.
That is, there is order and there is progress in the country.
So when you have a country that has orderliness, then of course it's going to progress. Because whatever it is you're doing, you understand you're supposed to work like teamwork, and then you always grow yourself. So Brazil is actually a country where you learn to do a lot of things. You learn to develop a lot of things. Then for them to keep progressing, it means it is a place where one needs to visit. And then tourists always find it very easy to get there. And when a Brazilian person will welcome you to his house, it shows that they love you. So the whole of the community, the whole of the neighborhood will know someone is there because they love meeting people. They love to know about people. They like to meet people, even when they don't know you. But then you find yourself in one of their houses. They tend to tell people about you. The little they know about you, everybody will have to know.
That's true. And as a country that is known for orderliness, people would want to go there because of the fact that there will be little or no crime things and all of that. And aside from that, for the fact that it is cheap, people rush there. So in fact, it's one of the countries that people go a lot in the whole of the world because of the fact that you don't have necessarily, accumulate a lot of wealth or probably riches or money before going there. And aside from that, for its natural beauty, it's a country that one needs to, explore. And sometimes, just from your opening, you said you only live once.
Yeah,
so for you to live once, at least you have to do a lot of things. You have to enjoy yourself. You have to, entertain yourself and see a lot of new places and sightings and all. And you can't do this or achieve this if you limit yourself to a particular environment or a society or a country. By the time you explore, you see new things. It improves your sense of humor. It improves your intelligence. It improves you a lot in all ramifications. So it's advisable for one not to just stagnate ourselves in a particular place, but then explore, go to many places, see new things for yourself. And a country such as Brazil is one of such countries that one should visit.
Yeah, it's actually a place for people to visit. And there's something I understand that I know, okay, I know about Brazilians. They said they are crazy about football.
They are crazy, like they are crazy soccer lovers. Honestly.
Brazil has won the FIFA World Cup finals 5 times.
Like 5 times. Something that no country has ever
more than
done in
any
the
other
world.
nation. So like that's actually why they say they are lovers of football. So then when you talk about football and you talk about Brazilians, you know, okay. And then they've actually provided like almost 3 top players.
I think I only know of one.
Who?
Pali.
You don't know Ronaldo, you don't know Neymar.
Is Ronaldo from Brazil?
Ronaldinho, sorry. And Neymar. Anyways, I don't know much about football, but then Pelé. And they said Brazil has the greatest variety of animals of any country in the world. They said it is home to 600 mammal species, 1,500 fish species, and 1,600 bird species, and an amazing 100,000 different types of insects. Brazil's jungles are home to most of its animal life, but many unique species also live in the pampas and semi-desert regions.
Of wildlife, like having seen animals, how they cohabitate, how their kind of habitation, how they your interaction amidst themselves. Like it's something that one should see. Aside from the fact we are humans, we should know how other species, kind of exist, their way of existing. And you cannot just be limited to a particular animal. By the time you see many of them, like it gives you a clearer view on how God, probably how wonderful God has created things and all of that. So for them to have gotten varieties of all of this, it's something that one should see and then explore. And I'm just wondering, 1,600 birds. Wow. Like I'm wondering, do we really have lots of varieties of birds as such?
Of course. Then when you get to Brazil, you get to meet or to see the different.
I think when I went there, I didn't go to this particular place.
It is well with you, Tony. Said for thousands of years, people have been exploiting the jungles of Brazil, but since Europeans arrived about 5 centuries ago, forest destruction has been rampant.
Yeah, talking about this, Kai, this thing is one thing that we should try as much as possible to neglect doing, because we are fond of deforesting these days. Like we though I won't say it's for a good cause, but then it's something that we'll have to neglect doing, because when you destroy forests, when you set it ablaze, when you cut or probably want to cut trees and all of that, you are trying to extinct our animals, that they'll go on to extinctions and you'll not even see or probably know that they exist again, because by trees, and probably some people go there to cut for plywood or planks and all of that. Animals there would be scared and then they'll run away and then they will go into extinction, and even there will not be animal left there. So I think we should try as far as possible to neglect the act of deforestation in our nation, so that by the time we have a forest that animals are there.
You're trying to advise the Brazilians, or
I'm just trying to advise us. I'm not advising Brazilians. I'm advising us as a whole that we should try as much as possible to neglect the act of deforestation, so that we'll have many tourist attractions. People will visit us and see new things.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. And we're talking about Brazil, the government and the economy. They said Brazil is a federal republic with a president, a national congress, and a judiciary. That's more like the government about it. From 1888 until recently, the country struggled with democracy. But in 1985, the military government was peacefully removed, and by 1995, Brazil politics and economy had become fairly stable. So Brazil has many different soils and climates. That's the economy part. And then so it can produce a great variety of crops. So whatever it is you plant, you have what you're going to reap at the end of it. And they have good soils and all of that. And its agricultural exports include sugarcane, lattes, coffee, cocoa beans, cotton, soybeans, rice, and tropical fruits. Brazil is also South America's most industrial nation, producing chemicals, steel, aircraft, and cars. Wow. That's actually very interesting to know that.
So everything at all is there. It's in terms of agriculture, in terms of chemical production, in terms of Brazil. Number one is the beaches. And then this is one of the primary attractions of Brazil. There are over 1,500 beaches more than 500 island dots, the water off the coast, and preserve an undented natural beauty not seen anywhere else in the world. You can pick from hundreds of excellent resorts that cater for your budget. Relaxing at a Brazilian beach is a unique experience that cannot be matched anywhere else.
At all.
Wow.
That's
like the beauty in their sight of beaches is just something that you should go and see for yourself, and not someone coming back to tell you
or
see
maybe
for
you see
yourself.
just in pictures.
As in,
so
tell them that you were there,
experience.
you've seen it, you've touched it, you were inside the water, you played. No,
at least you had an experience.
And you had an experience, not waiting for someone to come and tell you, or probably seeing the pictures yourself and just admiring the your phone or whatever place you are seeing the pictures from. So one time, just go there and relax your head.
Just for you to have
fun.
fun.
Don't go there alone.
Of course, you can't go there alone. How would you have fun alone when you go to such places?
Some people are that. Some people are like that. They are like that.
But then, out of 100, you have just maybe 1 to 2% of people like that.
There are some people that will just go, probably choose to go there for their own space. Just to relax their own mind.
But then to have the fun you want, then you can go with maybe friends, family.
You can even choose to do a picnic there.
And you get at least just to have that joy that you have people around you.
What's it called? Honeymoon and all of that.
So the beach is actually welcoming. You meet a lot of people there. You just have fun, eat, drink, and do all sorts of games you want to have over there. And when you go to the beach in Brazil, you know you're doing the best thing for yourself. Then another tourist attraction we have in Brazil, the amazing landscape. He said the Amazon River and rainforest and Igaku Falls are the most famous natural attractions in the country that has 62 national parks and hundreds of conservation units. Brazil holds several records for its wildlife numbers and diversity. Ecotourism and responsible travel initiatives are on the rise, making it possible for more travelers to enjoy Brazil in a suitable way. So then, having fun in Brazil and all the tourist attractions and all of that, you know that whenever you find yourself there, said it is one of the famous natural attractions there. And then so when you want to have the feel of nature, you want to have the feel of peace and all of that, once you find yourself in Brazil, you're having the mad fun you want. So then don't always feel like, oh, there's no place to go to or there's nothing to do. But then you have places to visit, you have things to do, you have a lot of activities to do with yourself, not just work. That is why we said you only live once. And then you just have to tell yourself that it's not all about work, but at least give yourself that time. At least give yourself that time that you need to give a break for a lot of things. Maybe from family issues, maybe from the society, maybe from any other thing. But then let it not just be work, so you don't just die.
So that you not die.
Of course, so you don't just die like that.
Okay, then the next we have is the Sugarloaf Mountain. Well, Sugarloaf Mountain is known as the tourist jewel of Rio de Janeiro because of its popularity among the tourists. A large number of people in this wonderful city. The mountain is said to be a historical landmark because the installation in the mountain was launched for the first time in Brazil and third in the world. Wow. So this particular is very tall. Judging from the research, I think it's more of 28 feet tall, and then it's one of the natural thing that Brazil hold on to, and for the fact that the installation of cable car happens to be the first explorer and come back and tell stories, and for the fact that this cable car initiation was known to see, and then tourists would want as well, take pictures of, make video clips, and then show off.
Like that was what you told me, I think, some days back about the cable car, and I told you it's actually an awesome experience. When it started, it was scary, but then when it continued,
like someone pushed you.
Yes, you get like that force that comes with it. But then later on, it was fun when you want to tell someone, but then of course it was awesome. So then it's something for one to try. You should experience it too.
I will. Of course, you don't have to tell me. I will.
Then they said how to show respect in Brazil. They said small, like once someone does any little favor for you, it's more like you can just appreciate that person with a small gift, even if it's just a box of chocolate. It goes a long way with them, just to show you that they don't appreciate little things. because I know maybe a little thank you can go a long way.
Of course.
A little present can go a long way. Then a lot of people will tell you, okay, I don't need this, because they appreciate what you've done. But then some actually wanted to show them that appreciation with maybe money or gifts or something. The thing
something
is,
evident to
vision and all of that. That's another way of appreciating people and doing things with people that is going to encourage them from doing things for you, maybe assistance and all of them, maybe at work, at home, maybe on the street. When you find yourself, maybe you're actually looking for a direction, or maybe you're looking for something to do, and then you just get someone and he tells you
get
not just
chocolate, so many gifts, so as to get their attention.
At least so you get their attention. That's just a little way of showing respect to people in Brazil. So then he said downtown Rio's most fashionable and famous section follows Avenida Nossa Senhora. Actually, these names, and then he said it's bordered all along one side by 4 kilometers of white sand and breaking surf. The beach is separated from the buildings and traffic by a broad promenade paved in black and white mosaic in an undulating pattern, reminiscent of worshippers, swimmers, and kids building sand castles whenever the weather is fine. Scroll the streets here to find restaurants, smart shops, cafes, and beautiful old buildings from the days when Rio was Brazil's capital. Said one of these, the Copacabana Palace, is protected as a national monument. Inside its lobby, you can
it's an example of pitch too.
It's a beach too, where you can just go to sit, and they said children can build houses with this white sand too, and then you just get flowers just to put on it. The feeling.
So as a matured mind, you can do that too, and revisit your childhood and all of that.
Growing up doing all those things was fun, in as much as some of us did not really get the opportunity to do those things like a lot, because when you're just outside, small opportunity to just be with all the people in the area, and then you find yourself in that part of the river, or you just want to do something just to remember it. So more like your house that
you just destroyed my house, as in that feeling.
So this is what they do in this part of the Cappuccino. The Copacabana, where we're talking about.
Just call it Copacabana. We understand.
It's actually a beautiful part of it that you sit on the white sand, breaking surf, and then you do all sorts of things around. Children will have fun building houses there and doing all their things. There are restaurants there, cafes, shops, and all of that. So whatever it is you want to do, you don't have to say, okay, you're in this particular place, you don't have a place to get something to eat, or you don't have a place to get a drink or something. But then once you find yourself there, everything is available for you. So we have another one, the Carnival, which is the Rio
Pre-Lent Carnival, the biggest and brashest in the world, like the beaches. It would seem unfair just to highlight one, as Brazil has an embarrassment of riches that start with Rio, Salvador, Recife, and Holanda. Few shows match Rio's pre-Lenten Carnival, that is Carnival extravaganza for color, sound, action, and exuberance. Make no mistake, this is not just another rowdy street party, but a carefully staged showpiece where spectators can watch the parades of competing samba dancers from purpose-built stadium designed by none other than Brazil's best-known architect, that's Oscar Niemeyer, called the Sambodromo. This long series of grandstand boxes provides ringside seats to a 700-meter parade route, where dancers and musicians from the competing samba schools strut their stuff in a dazzling explosion of brilliant costumes. If mob scenes are less appealing to you than more spontaneous celebrations that are equally righteous and colorful, you will also find carnival in cities like Salvador, Bahia, Recife, and other Brazilian cities. I think it's a carnival that is being done annually, and then filled up with so many people. People come from all over the world to come and experience how the carnival is being like. It's being done on the streets, but then some people, most times, or probably visitors take it or probably mistake it to be normal street parties and all, but no, it's just their normal carnival, which I think everywhere carnival takes place, but theirs is to some extent youthful. I think that's what they mean by being exuberant, in the sense that it's filled up with youth, doing one thing or the other, enjoying themselves, eating, doing a sort of merriment, not just to enjoy yourself. YOLO, you live once now, so definitely you don't to enjoy yourself, and that's what carnivals are meant for.
And then they have a lot of things there. They can just put on their galleries. They have cinemas over there, restaurants, cafes, and beautiful hotels where you can just go to relax and make it a social place for you. And then it happens just once in a year.
And then there are live music, handcrafts, seed foods, and so many things.
Yeah, and then the place, they said Sundays is especially busy over there when you tend to do all these things that you have to do just to have fun. So then you just have to have fun.
And it's not just a day thing.
It's not just,
it takes say 5 days or even a week or so.
Yeah, true.
Because everything has their process. They have, scheduled things on how they intend to, let things go.
Of course.
Then aside from that, we have the Ikwaku Falls.
That said is one of the best places to be as a tourist.
It's one of the best places that, in fact, tourists find their way going because of how beautiful it is, how whitish the waterfall seemed, and it's just something that is out of this world.
Of course, but from the name itself, like Iguaku Falls.
It sounds.
But then it sounds like. But then it's actually a place for you to be. It's a place for people. They said tourists always find their way to that place just for the beautiful side of it, and then for the fun of it and all of that. So then, if you think there's no place to go to in Brazil, then maybe you're just deceiving yourself.
There are various of places to visit.
There are places to visit. There are things to do. There are a lot of things to do in Brazil that you know that you're going to have fun. Climbing on mountains as well. That yourself, you're meeting people. Like the fun of when you just go top of the mountain and then you look down.
Overview of everywhere.
Yes, around that place. Like it's very beautiful. So then you have a lot of things to do, places to visit, things to eat. When we talk about things, you have a lot of things that we want to talk about. When you have food, say you're smiling because of food. Yes, the Brazilian food has been heavily influenced by the Portuguese colonization of the 16th century, by slaves brought from Africa, and by indigenous people, as well as other European, South American, and Asian countries. After slavery was abolished, Brazil recruited Europeans and Japanese immigrants to work in the coffee plantations. Indeed, today, Brazil is home to the world's largest community of Japanese descendants outside of Japan, numbering about 1.6 million people.
Wow, that is, if you go to Brazil, you will see descendants of Japanese there.
And that is why they brought them, because of the taste of their food and maybe drinks and all of that. And then so they said one of the food that Brazilians will love to eat anytime you go there, he said, is the barbecued meats.
Ooh, anything meat, bro.
When it has to do with meat, like I always want to talk about meat.
God.
Like meat. Like
this thing just reminded me of for how long I've eaten meat now. Like it's been a very long time I ate meat.
Are you serious?
Honestly.
You're suffering.
Take me to a treat now.
Don't worry, Shebi is meat, you want It's barbecued
Don't
meat.
Don't be by hell.
You want to eat meat now. So then barbecued meat. Brazil and Argentina both claim to be South America's barbecue champion. And while each country takes a different approach to its meat, from the cuts of the accompaniment, some things remain the same, namely the org-sized quantities of meat, best appreciated at a leisurely pace and with an elasticated waistband. In Brazil, premium cuts, the most popular being seasoned with no more than a literal shake of coarse salt before being grilled to pink perfection over charcoal or wood. If you're doing it the old-fashioned southern way, home barbecues will see sausages, squeaky cheese on a stick, and chicken hearts sharing space on the grill, while in the churrascarias, barbecue-style steakhouses, all manner of meat on skewers, from pork to lamb and wild boar, will be sliced by waiters straight onto your plate. Like the process of making
I want
the
to ask you,
meat.
if you go to Brazil now, you see this barbecued meat, will you be served or you have to buy it?
That's actually Of course, you have to buy it. Of course, like
So
once you're already salivating, you think they'll just give you. I'm sorry, sir, you have to buy it. You have to buy it. Of course, you have to buy it. Like, but of course, it's affordable. Why do you want to?
I just remember it's a cheap country that I just have to.
Of course, that when you find yourself there, you can afford anything. You can easily get what you want. You can afford anything.
Very true. Then the second food we have is feijoada, the most famous of all Brazilian dishes. Feijoada is eaten in every corner of the country. This rich, hearty stew consists of black beans cooked with different cuts of pork, then supplemented with tomatoes, cabbage, and carrots to round out the flavor. Traditionally, it's made with slow-cooked offal such as trotas and hares. Brazil's national dish is served with fricked kale mixed with baking beets, rice, farofa, that is toasted cassava flour, and then a slice of orange. Ooh, wow. I think it's more of like a stew.
Yeah, it's more like
a stew. Can be eaten with rice. Yeah, can be eaten with all sorts of things and all of that.
They said it's considered as their national dish. So it's made from black beans, pork, and beef.
It's famous. One of the famous foods.
So it's more like when they give you this particular stew, then it means they're actually
like you are good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go because you can have it with anything. Maybe you can eat it with rice, pasta, and maybe any other thing. Yeah, we're still talking about a lot of delicacies that Brazilians have, and I know it's actually breathtaking. And then once you want to eat it, you're excited. So then we've been giving you a lot of things about Brazil, their tourist sites, and then the food they eat and the things they love to do. But before we continue with the food, we'll take a short break. Just take a time out, and when we are back, we'll tell you more about Brazil and what you want to know about them. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Midday Show live on Echo Television International, and we're talking about Brazil, and we have a lot of things we said about Brazil, their beaches and places to visit and what to eat and what not to eat. And today we'll still tell you about the farofa, which is another meal in Brazil. It is famous for its distinct mofi flavor. This is a deliciously salty dish made from small pieces of bacon fried with cassava flour. It is served with rice and beans, which absorb the juice and add an extra texture to an otherwise quite mushy meal. Recipes contain varying amounts of salt, bacon, and spices, and the consistency of the farofa varies greatly. It can be eaten as a main or as a side dish, which works particularly well at a barbecue. So then this is more like their delicious salty dish that is made from small pieces of bacon fried with cassava flour. So then it's served with rice and beans. So it's more like you can just
have you ever ate something like the mixture of, I don't know what it's called in Hausa though, but it's a mixture of red oil and then like gari dough. Then you mix it with red oil. Is it acha?
Yeah, that one is different. Yeah,
that's
okay, it looks like it looks like okay, I know what you're talking about. Wow, really?
Gari and
yeah, of course, that is the different one. There's couscous as well.
Is this couscous? I always remember the name it's called in Hausa.
Couscous now. That one is a different one.
Yeah, it is couscous. Yes, it's true.
So then actually, and then you said you can have it with your juice. It can actually be your main meal, or it can just be like something you just want to have, like just a little,
like something light.
Yeah, just something light, not really something heavy. But they said it's delicious as well. So then if you want to have a taste of it, why not just visit Brazil and have a taste of this delicious meal? At least I'm sure you
or you can you can have it locally.
Yeah, of course you can have it locally done. You can do it yourself.
Use gari and
wow, what an advice.
Then we have mokika. Mokika is a tasty slow-cooked stew, which is containing prawns or fish, coconut oil, milk with added vegetables, tomatoes, onions, coriander, and then served piping hot on a clay pot. There are several, there are several regional variations of this dish. In fact, the neighboring states of Bianos and Capasapas both claim to have invented this, and both served mouth-watering versions. That is, this delicacies, I think, is served even in neighboring states, and then when it's being served, you just like you don't know where your saliva will be coming out from because of how like the kind of smell you'll be perceiving, and how breathtaking it seemed whenever it's being served, and then the smoke coming out from the food and all of that. Have you imagined that? Especially when you have been hungry for like say
of
not eating for like 2 days.
There's fish, there's coconut oil and milk and everything.
Not eating for like 2 days. The food is just being served for you, like piping hot, smokes coming out and all of that.
Just have a cold water to just go.
You don't have to necessarily be told that this is your food before
this
you
is
start
something for you
devouring
to
it.
eat, actually.
Before you start devouring it.
Yeah, we have the vatapa, said a thick stew from Bahia, made from shrimp, bread, ground peanuts, coconut milk, palm oil, and a mixture of herbs, which is mashed into a smooth paste and commonly eaten with rice and ekaraji, a type of fritter made from cowpeas. There are different variations of the dish. The shrimp can be replaced with tuna, chicken, cod, or just vegetables. So then it's more like a stew too that you can eat with rice, or you can have it with pasta or something. He said it's a paste actually. When you make it, then you can just eat it. Like they always say that whenever it is you want to eat, make sure you have a cold drink beside you to go with it. At least so you don't get to choke.
So it will go well.
It will go well. So that maybe when you're rushing the food and all of that. You cannot be eating
something cold and something hot and then
drinking something hot again. So something hot is cold to go with it.
Of course. Then we have pasta. These pastry pockets are either curved or rectangular and filled with stuffing that may include cheese, ground beef, chicken, along with more unusual fillings such as a heart of palm and guava jam. This one is normal pasta that we know, just like normal meat pie or meat. What's it called? Is it meat pie? Yeah, meat pie or anything cooked or baked or fried and all of that. So it's something that we can just take by the roadside and then just eat and then take something cool to digest it with. And aside from that, talking about the traditional system, educational system in Brazil. So the education system in Brazil is divided into 5 distinct levels of stages. We have the pre-primary or preschool education. We have the primary education, we have the lower secondary education, and then the upper secondary education, and then the tertiary education. And it's a compulsion for every child in Brazil to either be in preschool, pre-primary school, or pre-secondary school. But the tertiary institution is what they don't see to be a compulsory thing. But as far as the basics is concerned, you just have to undergo it, so as to get at least, if nothing less than the initial knowledge.
Have the basics now,
just have the ground root. Knowledge, so that you'll be able to fit in whatsoever place you find yourself tomorrow. Yeah,
of course, that's primary, and your secondary has to be compulsory. Like you just have to go to school, because if you don't, at least they said the basic things to learn are from these stages. Then when you just want to decide what you want to do from secondary school, then when you want to do anything,
learn a skill,
do
anything.
And they said Brazil is ranked the 32nd in the world for education. So education is mandatory for all children between the ages of 6 and 14, and free at all public institutions, including adult institutions, for those individuals who did not have access to school at the appropriate age. The Constitution does not expressly set age limits. Instead, it determines that education is compulsory, aiming at providing the necessary structure to the development of the student's potential as an element of self-fulfillment, training for work, and conscious exercise of citizenship.
For Brazil to be ranked as the 32nd country in the world in terms of education. That means they value
and they don't have
education.
age limits for you to go to school, and that's actually a good thing, because maybe you don't get the opportunity to go to school maybe from this little 6 years
when you're of
or
age a bit,
14.
yes,
you can
become
still go to school.
then,
So it's actually encouraging for you to know that even at any age there's no age limit.
Even if you are 50, you can start from primary
50,
school.
even if you're 60, you can just
not allow
to learn
society
something.
to get at you.
Yeah, of course, because you might just be in a class where there are people you're older than, and then you feel like it happened to me at some point. But yes, when you go to all these universities, especially private universities, you get to see people that are just like way back, like, and then you just look yourself and be like, wow, like, are you for real? Like, people that just have the opportunity to go to school at that time. When I was in 100 level, there was somebody that was 15 years in 100 level.
15?
Yes.
Wow.
So like it was something else, but then you don't have a choice. It's a private university, they can afford it. Everybody can afford it, like when you have that opportunity. So then in Brazil, there's no age limit, and then school education is compulsory. So then it's important to them. So then why not just tell yourself that you want to learn, or you want to do so, and you can do it. So education is key no matter what, even not just in Brazil, but then for you to have the knowledge of certain things, it is very important. With cultural festivals in Brazil, they have the Carnival, which is the most vibrant festival. So the Carnival is certainly one of the largest, oldest, and the capital. We didn't know that it was Brasilia.
But I think this Rio used to be the capital.
Used to be the capital,
before it shifted to.
So Carnival is also celebrated in other Brazilian cities like Salvador and Recife. The first celebration of Carnival dates back to 1830 as an extension of the Portuguese custom of rejoicing and indulging on the day before the Lent period commences, showcasing colorful street parades, samba dance by the locals in flashy attires, and street parties called blocos. The week-long carnival makes everyone rejoice, enjoy, and tap their feet with local music. There are healthy samba dance competitions. The streets are decorated colorfully, and everyone, be it locals or tourists, come out in most vibrant dresses and delight their heart and soul with this particular time, just to have fun, just to see what they do, just to experience that, the dancing, all of this, for you to just see it. Like, it happens anytime it does. They have parties and all of that, like, it's on the street and they decorate it. It's colorful. So then when you know the mixture of colors, the beauty,
like it's beautiful,
so then it is something that people will always want. But so far as you are around at that time, then they welcome you. You just go to have the experience. You go to do what you want to do. You just have fun. People who dress, they said even tourists will even dress in their attires of that carnival, of their culture and all of that. So then you learn and you keep doing it with them. It's more like, so far as they are together, they are progressing because they always help each other. So then if you find yourself in Brazil, you know you are in the
kachaka. Drink, dance, and then be merry. Then this festival is dedicated to the national liquor, cachaca, made from sugarcane, popular as Festival de Bangué. This festival is celebrated with samba performances, foro, and reggae. Food trucks are stationed from where one can taste authentic local food, and shops are installed selling typical Parati handcrafts and souvenirs. This festival is a great opportunity to taste and rejoice various varieties of cachaca.
Yeah, actually, that
well, I think this is actually is a party that is, or festival that is made up of drinks, and then you dance, and this particular drink is made up of sugarcane thing. Is famous because that was how they used to produce their sugar, like in more of like a corn sort of way. And that was where they got the name of that sugar loaf rock that we discussed earlier. So it's a place that is, of course, filled up with a lot of sugar cane. And when you have a particular plant that is common, you know that definitely there will be various use of how it's being used and how people enjoy it and all of that. So this is one of the ways of making use of sugar cane in Brazil, and then they as well use it to celebrate festivals as such as this cachaque, and then it's just everywhere. As far as this festival is concerned, you can see it everywhere. You can see it on the streets, you can see it on shops. Shops that are being installed basically for this particular drink, Aside from that, you have dances like reggae, foro, and samba going on, and I bet there's no way you can do a festival without not including dance
and music. It's
like
not possible.
the life is not going to be there.
Of course, it's not going to be.
So the dance and the music is the life of the party, is the life of is the life of every festival.
Yeah.
So it's something that one should, get his or herself indulge into. Or say, for instance, as a stranger or a visitor or tourist, you find yourself in Brazil in such time like this, you engage in their way of festival.
Of course,
now
to have fun. What do you want to be doing when they are having all this fun and
go and
all
lock
of
yourself
that?
inside the room?
Like, how would you feel deep inside of you?
You rejoice. You test so many things.
Of course, now, why did you go there in the first place? You can't just say you went there for just business.
No, that's what I even wanted to say. Of course, some people may go there for business purposes.
Of course, but at least you just need to go out to just receive fresh air. At least
relax your head. Like,
maybe
liberate yourself from whatever thing that you're being stuck up.
Yeah, we have the October Feast. It said is the beer loving folks, and I don't think I really want to talk about this, but then they actually observe this time in October. That's the only thing I know about this particular time. If you want to know more about it, maybe you should just try to actually do your research to know more about things that they do in Brazil. So now there are things that they don't even do, that you don't even try when you're in Brazil. Said avoid walking around with jewelry or using an expensive smartphone in the street, at least in a big city like Rio or maybe Salvador or Sao Paulo, etc. You can get robbed. Just avoid doing this stuff and you most likely won't have any issues. So that's more like an advice for you. Working with your phones and jewelries. Yeah, it's actually,
one have to be very,
of course, anywhere you are, especially
careful.
at night, you should be very careful with the things you go about with, because you don't know who might see that and want to get it from you, or it's not.
And the verge of that, you may probably end up
losing your life or maybe getting injured or something.
So the best is just don't go out. Just don't walk around with
it's
valuable
more advisable,
things like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Another thing is, if you want someone who speaks English, try approaching younger people. Anyway, most don't speak the language. If you speak Spanish, try going for that. It's similar to Portuguese. Therefore, we can understand you. Anyway, if you learn just few words in Portuguese, like obrigado, which is thank you, people will love it. We love Portuguese. So we know Portuguese isn't a language that people normally learn. So we appreciate the effort of at least that obrigado. It's something.
Thank you. Yeah, they said people here are used to physical contact. They are used to hugging friends when meeting you and such. So don't get offended if people normally invade your privacy, your personal space. It's cultural and they aren't trying to be invasive or such. People also will consider you as a friend after knowing you for just 2 days. So don't get surprised with that too. So then it's more like when you just meet somebody.
No, it's not everybody that welcomes
people with a hug or all of that. So that is why they're just trying to say, like, once you get there and someone just comes to you to just give you a hug or something. Mind. Of course, don't feel like that person is trying to invade your privacy or the person is trying to make you feel bad or something. Like, just embrace that person. That's more like they welcoming you and showing you that you're loved. Yeah, actually. That's the thing you should know. So don't feel like they're trying to get you away from what they do.
And they said Brazilians criticize their country all the time, but they get offended if a foreigner does the same thing.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of thing.
It's weird. Of course, now you can actually insult yourself.
Every citizen can insult his country,
but if someone else is going to insult,
you feel insulted.
You feel bad.
You feel insulted because you are here trying to insult him.
Like when you even try to insult yourself, maybe you be like you did something, then maybe you insult yourself, you're trying to scold yourself, and someone else be like, oh, you said that to yourself, person will insult you, then you feel bad. Of course, so it's actually a normal thing, but to them they feel it's weird. But then I feel it's normal that you want to insult somebody, you don't want that person to still insult that same person again. They said if going to Bahia, that's Salvador is the capital, he said you'll be advised against eating acarajé. It is delicious, but it has a lot of azeite, which is palm oil, similar to olive oil but made from a local fruit. and it can have quite an effect in your digestion the first time you try it, and it can ruin a good 2 or 3 days of your trip. You get used to it after eating 2 to 3 times. That's why the locals don't have issues with that. Then it's more advisable that you don't even eat it at all.
But there are some people that have all longer, a bit longer.
No, but really, this is more like an
just want to
advice.
test
Yeah,
everything.
you don't need to test everything, because now they're telling you it's going to ruin 2 to 3 days of your trip. So what if you're going there for just 5 days? So now 3 days has been ruined already. So then why not just stay away from this particular meal just to help yourself? At least I think it's better.
Yeah, and they said if you're going to north, that is Amazonian rainforest, take the vaccine of yellow fever. It's not mandatory for real, but I will recommend it for you to be 100% safe. Also, buy repellent. During hot seasons, there can be a lot of mosquitoes. You just so don't want to get Zika or dengue. And a simple and sharp repellent would guarantee a safe visit. So going there, probably you want to go to one of their forests or anything as such. Try as much as possible to get a repellent, something that will just
just to help you from all these
scare
mosquito
away
bites,
all these insects and all of that.
And so you can get a cheap one. At least it will still kill the mosquito.
Yes. I don't know.
You don't tell us the price, but at least we know that at least it will help you. So then, thank you, Tony, for doing this with me. It was actually fun.
Welcome.
Of
course,
it was actually fun. Wow, you have pride. Like, you're full of yourself. Really, I need to change you. No problem. Anyways, it was actually fun talking about Brazil, and I think we should do this again. Thank you, viewers, for watching today's episode with us on the Midday Show Live. We talked about Brazil, and we hope that you had fun, and we'll definitely bring you another beautiful country again the next time we visit. Have a blessed day ahead.